Hello and welcome back to Tetra Football, and the World Cup just got very, very interesting indeed. What two brilliant quarterfinals. Yes, this is today's match reaction, the first match reactions for the quarterfinals, and what a day of games this was. The drama was incredible, especially in the last game. But the first game to talk about is Brazil versus Croatia. Ended 1-1 between the two teams. Then it was 4-2 on penalties to Croatia, and they went through and knocked most people's favourites, the Brazilians, out of the tournament in just the quarterfinals. And honestly, fair play to Croatia. In these World Cups, they just seem to be big penalty and big extra time merchants. For some reason, nearly all their games go to extra time, and most of those then go to penalties, which is where they win their games. I mean, they're so good at penalties, to be fair. Livakovic, I believe, is the keeper's name. He's been brilliant for penalties this season, absolute god in goal for them. And talk about the whole game before the penalties, because Brazil pretty much bottled the penalties and Croatia were just spot on with them. This game can be described in sort of a timeline for me. So you got the first half, that's Croatia dominant, so they look good. They just didn't really have a striker to put away the chances properly. They didn't really have anyone in the box to put them away. Then you had Brazil dominate the second half with Livakovic making so many saves to keep Croatia in the game and keep it 0-0, with Guardiola also having a really impressive performance throughout the whole game anyway. So Croatia, very good defensive performance from them in the second half, and Brazil actually turned it on a bit there and then started showing a bit more of their talent, but just couldn't score past the Croatian wall. Livakovic, what a tournament he's had, really. Then the first half of extra time continued with that Brazil dominance, really. They were sort of the better team and creating more chances, with Livakovic still making more saves. And Brazil did manage to get their goal during this period with Neymar equaling Pele's all-time Brazil record. So that was a very good moment for them, and they thought they'd probably done enough to win it. But then in the second half of extra time, Croatia came out and looked like the dominant team again. The first time since the first half, they looked really like the dominant team, and Petkovic finally showed a bit more danger going forward, a bit more actual attacking threat, as if they could finish their chances for Croatia. Had a brilliant bit of skill, that was unfortunately didn't turn into a goal after he laid it off to Brozovic, who missed. And then obviously he did end up getting the goal that was heavily deflected, which got Croatia 1-1, which led to them going to the penalty shootout, which is where Brazil bottled it, really. And I don't understand putting your usual penalty taker, your best penalty taker, fifth in the list, because that's supposed I understand why, because they think that's going to be the high pressure penalty, that's going to be the penalty that wins us the game. But for that to happen, you need to have scored all the penalties before then. So the fifth penalty taker, it's very unlikely they actually take. So they need to be doing it. So your best takers take first, because you need to actually get to the point where you're taking more penalties, because you can't have all your worst takers take first and you get knocked out for your best players even get to take it. It just doesn't make sense. But like I said, Croatia absolutely brilliant at penalties. I mean, the midfield three for Croatia, what a game they had. Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic, all the Titches, they looked absolutely brilliant together. Like, you saw the stats coming up on like the bottom of the screen on BBC, and every single time it was just those three in the midfield. Every single time. That was incredible to see. They were just that good. He set his own record for like running the most as well, though I think that was a previous game, Brozovic, so that was incredible as well. And honestly, Croatia, you could argue they deserved that in the end. They did look very good, and that midfield three was definitely the sort of winning factor for them, because Brazil, they don't really have a midfield. They've got Casemiro, who hits really deep, Paqueta further forward, and then Neymar sort of on the left, up front, doing his own thing. They don't really have a solid midfield, and that's where I think Brazil lost the game, but Croatia won the game. So well done, Croatia. You just outplayed them in the middle of the park. And like I said, Guardiola has looked very good. He's one of my favourite players, at least one of my favourite centre-backs. I'd love Liverpool to sign him. Also, an ex-Liverpool player, Lovren. People might have questions over him, but he hasn't actually done anything awful this tournament, which is surprising. Honestly, you would expect him to, but he has also had a very solid tournament. But it's definitely all about Livakovic in goal. What a goalkeeper he is. Next game then, the one that just happened, Argentina versus the Netherlands. 2-2 in normal time after the Netherlands made a late comeback in the last 10 minutes. Then it was 4-3 to Argentina on penalties, and they are through to the semi-finals against Croatia. Argentina vs Croatia will be an interesting semi-final, but this game, Honestly, as far as I could tell, neither team really deserved to be winning clearly. I mean, for most of the game, it was just brilliance from Messi that separated them because the first goal was Molina and Messi. Molina won the ball back, got it to Messi after a good few touches to get round some players. Messi then drives forward a bit, plays a beautiful, beautiful pass back to Molina, who takes a brilliant first touch and then finishes it. So, fair play, Molina, and well done, Messi, for setting him up. That was probably the best assist of the tournament so far. I can't think of any I'm remembering right now. So that was an absolutely beautiful goal. And then Messi ended up getting another penalty, which meant he had a goal and assist for this game, which I think that means he's got a goal contribution every game he's played so far. And then the Netherlands, a late comeback after they went full Stoke City with the tall target men up front. They brought on De Jong and Weghorst, and it worked a treat. They got the two late goals, a cheeky free kick as well to get it, and just before that, a little bit of a dugout scrap as well when Paredes probably made a foul on Ake, but then proceeded to lump the ball straight at the Dutch bench. And like the Dutch, they were already, like, as soon as they saw him even kicking it, they were already up for it, even hit the bench. They were just straight at him. I mean, I think Van Dijk basically threw him to the floor. It was ridiculous. And to be fair, it's probably warranted with what he did. But that was all ridiculous. And I mean, the pool is basically Messi's bodyguard, people have been saying, and you can kind of see that. He does just run over every single time and get involved whenever Messi gets fouled, so that was good. But overall, I'd say maybe Argentina just deserved to win because of the quality, but overall, it was a very close game, although a very feisty game, I'd say. It's very niggly, loads of fouls going in, and honestly, the commentators were saying it, the ref just seemed to have lost control by the end. He was handing out yellow cards willy-nilly. It didn't make any sense. The commentators couldn't even tell who was getting booked anymore, so they couldn't even put it up on the screen telling you who was booked. And it was utterly ridiculous. It was mental. There's so many yellow cards, so many silly fouls. I was surprised no one got a red, to be honest with the amount of yellow cards the ref was giving out. I was surprised he even kept track of who had a yellow card because it was ridiculous. However, Argentina, in the end, through Messi magic, yet again, basically, just did enough to scrape through to the semi-finals. Let me know in the comments if who you think are the main favourites now that Brazil are gone. And while you're there, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.